Hey, hey, hey!
Welcome.
Welcome back to High Heels Happy Hour. I have a little hard time talking because I just ran. Forgot something, had to run.
So I am Ingrid, and you are?
I'm still Christina, although a little out of breath. But how you doing?
I am great.
Great. I love the color on you.
Thanks. Which color? My eyes, my lips?
Just all of it.
Oh,
that shirt.
my shirt.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
Like a pumpkin. I like it. Even though it's not fall, I still think pumpkin is always a good idea.
I love it.
Yes.
So how was your week?
My week was great. It was a lot of kids sports as always, but I spoke at Career Day, which I did it once in elementary school, I think for my son, but this was for high heel no sorry this was for St. Ed's school for high school, I was going to say, and I said high heel. Well, then I got my priorities right. And so I did it for high school, sophomore, juniors, and seniors. And it was interesting. It's hard to speak in front of teenagers because they have this blank expression, like, so you have no idea what's really going
I have
on.
one emoji.
But it was fun. It was fun to kind of prepare the talk to kind of think about the audience, because I do a lot of speaking, but mostly for grown-ups. So I just had to change it a little bit. That was really fun. What was the most funnest of all for you this week?
Well, I got tickets to go to see 42nd Street musical.
That's always fun.
And it was really fun.
Yeah.
It was entertaining. It had a lot of adult humor. Yeah. So it was funny.
Oh God. I haven't seen that one.
It was good. And how about life hacks?
Life hacks. So I'm actually doing a reel on this week. So I had to go buy a new one because I was out. And as always, I can't really hold it up. But this is one of the best little things you all need to have in your style survival kits. It's called, this one is called fusible bonding web. It's also called ironing tape or witchery tape. It is when you're not good with a needle and a thread or a sewing machine. I'm actually pretty good with both. But when you're out of time or want to do a quick fix, you can hem things, hem curtains, pants, anything that requires usually a little sewing. You just put this in between the fabric, iron on top of it, and boom, you've hemmed your pants. It's great. Everyone needs this. So I'm going to teach my son too how to do it going off to college. That's one of the life skills. But everyone should have some of this at home. Very affordable. And sometimes too with pants, like the hem has just gone down a little bit. You just stick a little bit of this tape in there, iron, good to go.
And when were you going to tell me?
What? Haven't I told you this in Style Club? Did you not pay attention?
I mean,
yes, I love this stuff.
Probably, obviously not, because
where you can find it. You did not pay attention. You can find it Amazon or just any kind of sewing.
And how long does it last?
So depends on. It won't last forever in the washing machine, but I like it for curtains and things that you wash very seldom.
Yeah.
But otherwise, you just have to do it again after a while. It will last a few.
But it won't fall off that night.
Oh, no. No, okay. Only if you wash it.
Huh.
Yeah. You're welcome.
Yeah, thanks. Okay, so my life hack. Y'all know I have a new dog. And he's still new.
Chance. The dog.
Humans get massages.
Yes.
But did you know that dogs need massages too?
No.
Yes, it's important for their mobility, and it actually helps them live longer.
Oh, We need to
because
go give Georgie a massage.
I was earlier.
So,
And
I'm
it's
sure she
really
does.
good for them because
Okay.
they'll stretch when they get out
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
bed, but they still get tight muscles.
Yeah.
So massages.
And I'm sure emotionally and all that is great too.
Why not? So yes,
Yeah.
and you can do it there's videos online.
Yeah,
you can watch.
I'll check that out. That'd be fun. Learn some doggy massage.
Yay, Chance loves massages.
Oh, he's a spoiled dog. No,
He is,
he's
so cute.
No, that's
so yeah. So that's my
okay.
For the week.
I'm gonna look into that too.
Yeah, you should
We'll
love it.
report back.
Yeah.
So today we're going to continue on our, well, as always, entrepreneurial journey, but we're going to switch gears. We were very efficient last week, right? Talking about the efficiencies and all of that, time management, but we're going to go into a little bit of a softer values and be a little kinder to ourselves today. So we have a fabulous guest who's an expert on the topic and also a good friend of ours. So Ingrid, why don't you tell us about who we have?
So we have Miss Emily McHugh. But first, before you get to see her and meet her, I'm going to give you a little bit about her. I'm going to tell you a little bit about her. So Emily's mission is to help entrepreneurs supercharge their business with the entrepreneurial journey roadmap. The key goal is to optimize time and energy to build profitably sustainable businesses. Okay, so as an entrepreneur with 20 years of international business experience, that's a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Emily is the founder.
And she's only 20. That's so.
Hey now. She looks great. So Emily is the founder of the travel accessory brand Kasuri and the author of The Little Girl's Guide to Entrepreneurship. We both have copies. And the title of that is What I Know Now That I Sure Wish I Knew Then, which is really awesome because we just did a podcast on that, on some of the stuff of how we got started and what we did and what we should have done. So this is perfect. So without further ado, let us introduce to you Mrs. Emily McHugh. Yeah. Okay.
Hello, everybody.
Hello. Are we having some technical stuff going on?
I think we are. The screen has a way of freezing, and I don't know if it's just my end or you guys experiencing it, or maybe it's my end.
I'm not sure.
But the weather is bad around me today.
Yeah, that's true. It's true. So Emily,
we can see you perfectly.
Okay.
Hear you. You look great. You sound great.
Oh, you know what it is? I think it's the supercharge in you. That's it's like
static electricity. So tell us, Emily, anything you want to tell us that's not in your bio about yourself that you want to share off the bat?
Well, first of all, I'm really excited to be here with you lovely ladies, to be in this high-heeled happy hour environment, because I know when I'm with you two, it's going to be very happy for sure. So it's very, very, very exciting. Happy to be here, and congratulations on this wonderful platform. And I would just like to say that, I'm, like I said, I'm thrilled to be here and I love being a part of this international component. So I know both of you have multinational backgrounds, and I too am adding to the mix. I was born in England, grew up in Jamaica. My parents are Jamaican, and grew up in New Jersey here in Florida. So
woohoo! There. We are the world.
We are the children.
Yeah.
So now, we know that you have this whole idea and this concept of supercharge, but can you help us or help our listeners actually understand, or can you define what supercharge is?
Well, it's this whole concept of how you find some balance, if you will, and I use that word cautiously, between your time and your energy. And from this whole entrepreneurial journey that I've been on, I realized that it all boils down to that. How much energy you have to execute what you want to do, your vision, your goals, and all of that, because you can have this long list, but if you don't have the energy to do it, it's just going to stay right there. So how you ration your energy, and not to expect that you will always have all the highest energy levels at all times. It fluctuates. So the whole concept is supercharging, is understanding how to regulate what you are committing to, and what you have actual time to do. So it's that whole the journey for balance, the journey to seeking that place of equilibrium, if you will.
That's, yeah, because as entrepreneurs, the to-do list, we were talking about the brain dumps and all that, Pomodoro techniques and all that to be as efficient, but the to-do list just never ends, right? And you feel like you're never done, and you never turn off when you have your own company and you're it. So yeah, so true to listen to yourself, and really, the subject of grace and mercy is so important to get in there, and it's not just about efficiency.
Exactly.
Yeah, and understanding that you're not going to be efficient if you don't have enough energy, which comes to the next question that we have is, why do we need grace and mercy?
Well, that is like the lever. The grace and mercy is the lever in all of this type of thing, because there's some days you're not going to feel like doing some of the things you have on that list. Some days you can't do it. You might not be well. You may not, emergencies, things come up. So making room, like that buffer zone, and that's a part of the grace process, and giving yourself grace. And I will add, I know that this can have a religious connotation. Many religions define grace, maybe some as undeserved favor. And I'm quick to say that I dispel and dismiss that definition, because it has nothing to do with what you deserve or don't deserve. It's something that someone has decided to grant you, period. It's a gift. And so therefore, the time now is for you to give yourself that gift. And you don't sit there and assess, well, am I worthy enough? Do I deserve this? No, it is a gift to you. So give that gift to yourself of grace. Yeah. No unconditional, no explanations needed. And that relieves that pressure, because we live in a society that always kind of expects an explanation. You don't have to give one. That's sufficient.
Yeah.
I love that.
That's a good reminder, because aren't we a lot of our time just kind of making up excuses for, like, what am I going to say and how am I going to explain? Yeah, that's true. That's true. And don't you think too that this is something particularly female, since I know you work mostly with females, so do we. And this podcast is mostly females. But it's a typical female thing to do too, to beat ourselves up for not doing this or performing at 100% of the time. I don't think men are as hard on themselves as we are.
I think it probably may skew female, or more, a little bit more, maybe beat up a little harder. But I know enough men that beat up themselves plenty as well. So maybe they do it in different ways. I don't know. But I think as a human characteristic, we tend to be really hard on ourselves, unnecessary. Yeah, so this is a really interesting conversation, because one of the key things for people to understand is that we don't want to make excuses for ourselves. So let's understand what grace and mercy truly means. And we defined a little bit about what grace was about, and it's giving yourself a gift. And then mercy is, maybe you did something and you're giving yourself a little pass. That's what that is. But we do acknowledge. We acknowledge, and we don't make excuses, and we're still accountable. And that's really critical. And as entrepreneurs, accountability is fundamental to keeping ourselves on track with what we committed to do. So just want to highlight that while you give yourself grace, you're still accountable.
Absolutely.
Oh, man, I thought it was off the hook.
No, and it's also, we did touch on that in the PTSD episode too, about giving yourself grace and mercy, but not seeing it as a crutch or hiding behind.
By just making excuses. I mean, just man up or woman up.
Yeah.
whenever, you know,
Woman up.
woman up. It's easy. It's very easy to give excuses.
Yeah.
So definitely love that.
Yeah. So Emily, this fabulous book, and I just remembered, so I have to be honest, I have not read it yet, but it will now and will go on my next favorite list, I am sure. But that was the first time I met you.
Yeah.
Way back when you were launching this book and we were at a networking event. And I'm like, oh, I got to have that book. And then I bought it. I even noticed you wrote a little note to me in here that before we knew each other. And then I put it in my stack and I forgot. So I'm so glad we're talking about it because now it's coming up to the top.
Amen. Amen. Wonderful.
Like when you wrote it. So the book again is Little Girl's Guide to Entrepreneurship, What I Knew Now That I Wish I Knew Then.
Mm-hmm.
So tell us a little bit about your background and kind of how you ended up and why writing this book.
Yeah, well, writing the book was quite a story in of itself. My mother was the one who encouraged me to write my book. And she said, you need to tell your story, write your book. And she was so insistent about it. And I'm like, but mommy, why is it such a big deal? She says, because people need to know that what you went through, that it's not in vain. And if you can make someone else's journey easier, then it's incumbent upon you. You have the responsibility to do that. So now here I am feeling accountable for this, that it's not just your journey by yourself. It's like, what can others benefit from you as well? So that was the motivation. And so I set out, I started on a little writing schedule every morning because I was making all kinds of excuses. Don't have the time, other things to do. What am I going to say? I don't know how to organize any book, all the things. And what I realized was all you have to do is just start writing. Don't worry about the chapters. Don't worry about the title. Just start to write anything that comes to mind. And as you continue to do it, it will start to formulate. So I was writing by hand. Even though we can all go and type away, I wrote it all out by hand in my notebook. Somehow the ideas flowed better for me. And then when I went back and typed it in. So I would, as I said, set aside the time. And it was very therapeutic because it was at a time, I think the economy was kind of crazy and you're just like going through all these things with your business, and it really helped to put things into perspective. So on a personal level, that's what it did. And then it also documented the process of what things you take for granted that you just, think is normal, but it's a lesson here. And so it was a bit semi-autobiographical as well as lessons for entrepreneurs. So that was the framework for it.
I love it.
Yeah. Can't wait. Again, I was so excited when I bought it, and then, something happened. But now it's going to happen.
Amen. And it's available on Amazon, so people know they can go to Amazon and get this. Yeah. So they don't have to feel like, it's easily accessible.
And maybe if you subscribe to our newsletter, maybe you just go into a drawing for one.
Hey, I think that's excellent. I think that's exactly what will happen.
Yes. Again, subscribe to our newsletter at www.highheelshappyhour.com.
Excellent.
There
you go.
I love it. And then, so now we're going to go into, how'd you get into coaching?
Yeah. So, one thing in what happens in life is one thing flows into the other thing. So I started my Kasuri travel accessories, laptop case business, then wrote the book. Then the coaching came out as a result of the book. People would say, Emily, might you consider becoming a coach, sharing with us what you learned along the way? So the book served as this launch pad into this whole coaching arena. And I have done consulting for many years and so forth on that level, working with entrepreneurs and small businesses, but I hadn't thought of really starting my own coaching practice. So that's where that came from. And the whole supercharge, being known as the supercharge coach, is from what we said earlier about supercharging and the time and the energy and so on, plus the lessons learned along the way on entrepreneurship.
So we can probably say thanks, Mom.
Yes. And I have to add, and I know Mother's Day is coming up. It's very meaningful to me on many levels. This whole process because when I wrote the book, as I said, my mom was very insistent and like really in a rush. You need to do this. You need to do this. And when I finally finished it and got it published, a month or 2 months later, she passed away suddenly.
Oh,
And it was such, I would have felt even worse had I not done this. So she got to see the book published, and so when someone encourages you to do something, don't take it lightly. You don't know life. You never know what happens in life. So that's one of the things that
there's
You didn't
so
tell me about
many
the tears.
stories
oh
there.
oh dear.
Wow. Yeah.
But she would have been thrilled at such a conversation today. And I think it's all a part of this whole vision that she had about sharing this message. So that's why I'm so honored to be able to continue with this having this dialogue.
Yeah. And I'm a part of the Supercharger group.
Yay.
She's looking at me
Yes.
because I'm usually on Thursdays at 2.
Yes.
Is it? I'm usually at yes.
I'm part of the club. We meet on Zoom, and it's great for accountability, but it's also great. Emily's a great coach. It's a really fun group, and
Okay,
we're
so
from all over the world. It's
Yes.
Is
fun.
it recorded or do you have to?
It is recorded and it is in the group. It is in our private Facebook group, the Supercharged
Yes,
Club.
you can watch the recording.
I'm not making an excuse. I'm just asking.
Yeah, whoever joins can always watch any I call it episode, any recording. It's
I
all
will be
there.
New Supercharger.
Yes.
Yay!
Clubby.
A clubby. I will join the clubby.
I appreciate that. And could I share that the club came from the book? So anyway, I let you proceed with it.
It all goes. Yes, everything just happens for a reason, right?
Yes.
I
it's
love
a big
it.
circle.
I mean, obviously I got a little emotional because I did not expect that, but I was just like, that's so cool because so many times we push each other and we do things and we just never know what that ends up doing for someone. Just doing that one thing with the sense of urgency.
Yeah.
You just never know. And look, it's done. It's trickled the domino effect of you writing that book. And such a sense of urgency has trickled to why we're speaking today.
Yeah.
So it is.
And you started the club because of that, and
yeah.
And now we are all kind of meeting people from all over the world. I love it.
Yes, it's awesome.
So
and
if we go back a little to the grace and mercy, I know that you have some tips and tools on how, because some of these, we know it's good for us, but it can be hard to apply. So I know that you have some hands-on tips on how we can do this.
Yeah, well, one of the first things I would say is that people really need to acknowledge where they are, what the situation is. Like, address it. Don't ignore it. So let's say, for example, you feel tired. Don't pretend you're not tired. You're tired. Acknowledge it. And then have a plan for how you're going to address it. Maybe as soon as I finish this, I'm going to take a nap, or I'm going to stop right now, take the nap right now. I mean, just put it within the context. But the whole idea is you want to have that acknowledgement and be really aware of what you are. And I think that whole mindfulness concept, the awareness, we subconsciously may say I'm tired, but then we ignore it. Or it could be something else that we choose to ignore. And then till it comes to the point where you can't ignore it anymore. So taking the time to really acknowledge is quite critical. Once you have done that, then you can say, okay, well, what am I going to do about it? What can I do? And what are my options? So the acknowledgement, and it goes to really options. What are the options that you have at your disposal right now? And when we get into the option stage, this is where the excuses can come out. We can start to say, this or that. And if I put it within the context of, say, entrepreneurship and maybe starting a business, people will come up with reasons why they can't start a business. I don't have the money. I don't have the time. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know where to start. And they're all valid points that is not true, but that's not going to be, therefore, as a result of that, does that mean that I don't do anything? So maybe I can start with doing some research. Maybe I'll start with a Google search, and that will be my step. And then from there, I'll say, okay, that gave me something interesting. Maybe I'll go read a book. That's one thing I did when I started in entrepreneurship. I did a lot of reading. I read the bios. I read people's books, and that was a major encouragement to learn from their experiences. I remember reading the biography of Anita Roddick of The Body Shop. If you guys remember The Body Shop, and she started this in England and everything, and her whole journey. And from reading that book, I learned a tremendous lesson about copyright, and trademarking. She had a lot of trouble trademarking her name, The Body Shop, because it's such a common name and all of that. So I learned a huge lesson right there from that one thing from that book. So again, know your options, take the steps. You can always take some kind of a step. And a third thing I would say is that once you have your options there, decide what you're committing to. What do you want to commit to? Because some things we may have committed to aren't worth our time and causing us trouble that we don't need. So give yourself the grace of getting rid of stuff off your schedule. Get rid of it. Just don't say no to it. And I mean, I could go on, but saying no and knowing what you're saying no to and when to say yes, because it's something that you feel you need, as opposed to someone expects it from you or you feel obligated. So those are some tips.
Yeah, the importance of saying no. We touched on that last week too. It's very important to acknowledge what does not lead to or put you towards your ultimate goal. And sometimes we just say yes to everything, thinking it's going to help, and it might look good short term, like, oh, this will put me in front of that person or do this. But is it really for the bigger picture? If we take a zoom out and look at the big picture, is it really going to help us? So
and and also it's the whole idea of prioritizing your life and your activities. And this is essential to me, to this whole supercharging process, is that there are a lot of things may be important, but they cannot all be priorities. And what has to come off and what has to wait and then we have to be patient. So as entrepreneurs, we want everything done now. We have a vision. We want it done. We want to execute. We want it perfect. Boom. A website up, everything launched, done. But that is not how things go unless you happen to have a magic wand. And if you have it, then please pass it around, because that's the thing. So we have to really cultivate that patience, which is a part of the grace. And is patience. Yeah.
I love it. So one of the things that just popped in my head, and that's a little scary, okay? Just
you never know what's gonna come out.
Is, we've said this before, it's interesting how entrepreneurs have a hard time saying no, correct? And we say yes to everything. However, we don't do things for us. We're super easy to say, oh yeah, we'll do this, we'll do that. We say no, but yet we have all these excuses that we give ourselves, which I guess it comes into the grace, that we don't give us the opportunity to have that grace.
Like, we can't go to the gym, we can't do this, we can't take
yes, but then we can do things for other people, but yet for us it's so difficult. And I mean, we've touched on this before, but listening to you, oh my gosh, people, just listen. It's okay to say no.
And I love the priority too piece, because especially when you're fairly new starting out with the business, everything is priority top, number one. There's nothing, I mean, everything is super important, or you feel like everything is just so important. And that's one of the things I do like about, we spoke about it a couple of weeks ago, these softwares or online management tools that you can use, like a Monday or an Asana, where you have project management. you have to put things in priority, like different colors. You have to mark them. What priority are they? And I tended to put everything in high red. So if I look at the overview, I'm like, oh, that can't be right. That's not that.
That's
But it was such a
awesome.
good visual, like, oh, everything is red. That's not good. So yeah, it needs to be some oranges, some yellows, some greens, some blues as well.
But that's interesting, Christina, because I know with I love project management software, and the one that I happen to use is Notion, which is a whole other world. Notion is like incredible. I know Asana, I'm familiar with Asana and all those things, but you had the choice of it's really a customized platform, so you can really make it what you want it to be, and that's where it can also be challenging. But when it came to selecting what's a priority, low, high, medium.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know what medium priority means. I
Yeah.
only know high. Like you're saying.
And
Low means it's not a priority.
Think about it. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's either, so now it's about sequence. So I got rid of that because it doesn't compute. So it's either 1, 2, or 3, 4, 5, or 6.
Ah, okay.
It
Yeah,
has to be a number.
I like the colors. That did it for me.
Yeah, I love colors.
Yeah.
I love colors too.
Red, I know, ooh, and then but yeah.
Okay,
But
I don't have 1, 2, 3 or colors. I have just a book, and it has everything in the book in order of what it pops in my head.
Oh,
Yeah.
So yeah, I haven't upgraded yet to colors or what numbers.
But you know what? Your project management thing can also create anxiety. I know it has done that for me on other for very various reasons, but it gives you that feeling of urgency, and you gotta build grace and mercy into your planner, into your agenda.
so true. So true. I need to put that in the management tool. Like my grace and mercy is high priority.
Yeah. It is, because then we'll never forgive ourselves. And if something like the other day, I missed sending out my supercharged weekly newsletter, and I had to make a choice. I said, you're either going to stay up till 2 a.m. and get this newsletter out, or you're going to go to bed because you have something early in the morning to do that you have to be at. So I chose to go to bed because I really needed to sleep. And I'm like, I think people can use a break from the newsletter anyhow. I'll come back next time. And so there you go. That's an example.
I can totally relate because my newsletter, my style newsletter, have not been sent out in the last 4 weeks. Because it's just been, I've been traveling. It's been a lot. And I gave myself a lot of grace for that. I said just what you said. I said, you know what? And I felt like I didn't have something that was super value adding to share. It was just like, I was just going to create a newsletter for the sake of creating it. I said, you know what? No, I'm going to sit back, and when it comes to me, I'll write it, I'll send it out. So
there you go.
That's it. I've been beating myself up about it. I'm sure no one has paid attention or noticed.
But that comes from that high level of commitment. You're committed to your audience. You're committed to what you said you're going to do, which is a great thing. So that's a wonderful. But there comes a time when we need to just say, okay, it's not that you're not going to come back and send it out and so on. But I have to say, this is really funny that we're experiencing this similar thing, that when I missed my newsletter and I came back to say, now what am I going to say? I didn't know what to say. So guess what came to mind? Grace and mercy. Write about grace and mercy.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe that's what I need to write about too.
Grace and your version of it.
Yes. I'll do my version of grace and mercy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Stay tuned for anyone who's subscribed. Well, this has been so fun and great and so important because, yes, we can talk about all the efficiencies. And I tend to do that. As we know, we're very different personalities, but I'm the high C with the efficiency tools and the to-do lists and the this and that. So this is so important to remind.
I'm a little opposite. However, I do beat myself up because if I say I'm going to do something, I am a woman of my word. Mm-hmm. So if I say I'm going to do something,
yes,
I'm very, very hard on myself.
But you're better at the softer values. You're better at the mindset and all that. I'm not so good at that.
I didn't have that for a while.
Yeah.
And, learning as I go and really realizing I do have to say no. I do say no a lot more now. And I say very humble. And that's something a lot of people don't do. And I think that's just, it makes things a lot easier, staying humble and just knowing where you stand. Because there are people that, I guess we talked about this a few days ago, learning that people will disappoint you.
Yeah.
And accepting that was really hard for me, because I'm like, no, if I'm going to do something, if I tell you I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it.
But that's a component too of a little grace and mercy towards others, right? Because yes, people will disappoint, and I'm sure I have disappointed someone at some point as well.
Me too.
But instead of being, because my first reaction can be get mad, like I can't believe they did that. But instead, just take a step back and say, you know what? There's probably something going on, or I'm just gonna not get, all.
So it can go on. Obviously, it can go on, and we can think of so many things. But it's so fun, and thank you. And then, so now, how can our listeners find you?
So the link is on Amazon, but how do they find you? Maybe they want to be in the club with us.
And supercharged.
Absolutely. Well, first of all, I would love for people to follow me on Instagram, which is at Emily the Entrepreneur, so they can check me out over there. But on YouTube, I really, really want them to subscribe to my YouTube channel at Supercharged Coach, where they can watch videos. I did a Grace and Mercy video that can kind of supplement some of what we're talking about today, and just really kind of be a part of the conversation. And if they want to really get to the heart of the matter, they can join the Supercharged Club at the superchargedclub.com, where it's all about planning, networking, and accountability. And we have a workbook that we're working through, a planning program, and it's really great. And right now, I think we have people from, 5 continents, 5 continents coming in and just bringing their perspectives and their wisdom and brilliance. And it's just a wonderful, wonderful experience. So I invite you guys to come check us out at the superchargedclub.com.
I'm missing out.
Yes, you are. She is.
Oh man, I have FOMO.
Yes, FOMO. Well, thank you, and we'll link to your handles and everything in the show notes as well. But again, thank you, Emily, and we will chat very soon. And before we leave, we have to say,
cheers!
Cheers, everybody!